Try to find it. I can find the after show probably. You're starting. All right, go. Thanks for the heads up, Brandon. What's up, dude? You made it, man. I told you to be here, bro, and you're here. It's gonna be firing, dude. It's all time. Tide's right. Swells coming out of the southwest. It's good intervals. It's gonna be dope, bro. We're gonna talk about all things freaking 401k and advisors and cybersecurity and custodians and just all kinds of cool retirement plan stuff. So it's gonna be sick, bro. Hey, we don't do enough is a thank y'all for tuning in. I know we've talked about it many months ago, saying, man, the chat bar is just so cool. They're part of the show now, and you really, really are. And so I just want to take this moment to say, I love you, man. I love all of you for tuning in and being part of the show, because you really are. Chad, do you love them? Why don't you tell them? You never tell them that you love them. They tune in all the time. You ignore them all the time.
I do not ignore them. And whoa, Brandon made me big all of a sudden. The funny thing is, JD, is when I describe what we do to people, I tell them we get access to folks like Cindy, and we have people like Shannon and Jania and Aaron and Alex and all these folks that are the industry icons that sit on the chat bar with us every Thursday night. Like that's friggin' awesome. And so, yes, I give them all the praise and love, maybe just not to their faces when we're sitting here on the show.
Mark, tell them you love them. Tell them you love them.
Well, everybody knows that I love them, because I think I constantly get a little emotional and share my passion with everybody. But I think I'm going to pause there for a second, JD. I think that was your way of trying to keep the audience engaged and apologize for your absolute travesty of a song last week. So as much as you want to say you love everybody, I think you should also, that was kind of a backhanded apology. So shame on you.
I apologize. Yeah. I apologize, everyone. I'm going to give you the
comment to JD. Jeez.
I'm going to give you a break for a few weeks. We'll take a little break on the songs.
Which I think is a cop out. That's, again, I feel like if you're Beyonce and you release a song and it fails, she doesn't go home to her mega mansion and cry next to Jay-Z.
Gotta get back on the horse. Huh?
Goes into the studio and writes another banger. So get on it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you someone who's been writing banger after banger.
Yeah,
that's Silent Justin McNeil has been doing the intros. Like, I had this thought today. I would not want to go head to head against Justin in an intro contest. He would smash me right now. He's just been
as long as you're singing before me, it looks really good.
Last week, been a pro.
I mean, it was really a 6, but it looked like an 11.
So here's where it gets tough, though, Justin.
Your goggles right there for everybody.
Is when everyone expects a 10 out of you each and every week. So you know what to do out there, audience. You're going to judge Justin's intro of Cindy on a 0 to 10. Let her rip, Justin. The floor is all yours.
Alrighty. Well, we got another rock star of a female who's kicking ass in our male-dominated industry today. She's currently resides in the great state of Colorado, but she's a self-proclaimed Jersey girl through and through. No, she's not a Snooki or like the rest of the wannabe fake famous asshats. She's actually done some meaningful shit with her life. For instance, started when she got her bachelor's in political science from Hobart and William Smith College, where she made the dean's list. She then went on to get her JD from University of New Hampshire Law School. No big deal. Moving into her professional career, she served as general counsel for Matrix, for Mark General Counsel. That means she was a lawyer for over a decade. And in 2011, she decided to take on the role of COO until Broadridge came into the picture in 2016. She's a hell of an athlete, who has a profound love for tennis. In fact, she's so good at it that she's in her high school and college halls of fame.
Damn, Dash.
For all you tennis fanatics out there, she currently plays at a 4-5 level. And for the rest of you, I have absolutely no idea what the hell that means either. So
Look what Brandon found.
Whoa.
She's a recognized leader in the industry and wealth management space with the overall responsibility for Broadridge Matrix Financial Solutions and FI 360. Ladies and gentlemen, the general manager and SVP of Broadridge, Cindy Dash.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
I
I'm starting
That
to.
was a level 4-5, Justin. Well done.
Yeah,
I'm-
you're
Hey.
pushing like
I'm
I,
starting.
hope, I really hope that's good. I'm just saying.
No, I love that.
Yeah,
I was
can you-
reading. They want to know what I'm drinking, John Rice in particular. So I've got some Blue Moon here. I'm ready to go.
Very nice.
And
Nice.
looking forward to tonight. I appreciate that kind introduction.
What does 4-5 mean for?
It's a ranking. I'll tell you this: if you're 5-0, I mean you're borderline pro college, like legit gnarly. So she's right there, man. So
Cindy, did you know that JD coached a professional tennis player for years?
I did not know that. He did
I learned
not.
something new every day.
I also took my alma mater high school to their city championships or whatever for the women's tennis team there. So yeah, we'll talk about it in the after show. I know, Webb. JD, a tennis coach? What the hell? Yeah.
I'm really
Okay.
surprised.
We've got a
haven't seen
tennis
reports.
themed show for you tonight. So pay attention to some of the tennis stuff we got going on. Justin, another phenomenal intro. Hats off to you. Although I'm getting emails from
Sir?
advisors that are saying you're not responding to emails and phone calls on the day of the show. And I feel like you're spending all day on this intro. And so
Out
I
of
don't know,
office.
maybe we need to. Housekeeping. We are going to play Chat Bar Champion. So Cindy, keep an eye on that chat bar. You will get a vote someone into the semifinals to be Chat Bar Champion for today's show. There's no real criteria. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you're into in that chat bar, vote for that person. And then you all out there, you know the drill. You vote the winner. You vote the winner. Last week we had no winner because we got in a tie and they both sucked in the tiebreaker. So that was kind of fun. We're gonna play Acro Sin. I've explained these rules to Cindy already, so she knows them. No initialisms, no acronyms, but you can say my name. My name is fine, and that's it. Let's get going because we've got a lot to do today.
Analysts and attendees.
We're gonna jump right into some headlines. Saw an article on NapaNet today giving us a little update on cybersecurity. Oh shit! Is that just one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just one. Off to a good start though, JD.
I guess there's some attorney firm out there that's caught wind that the Department of Labor in some of their
Well done.
regular audits are actually asking for cybersecurity information from the clients, from their vendors and this type of stuff. And so I think the takeaway here is like, well, when did we get these guidelines from them, these little FAQs and stuff? Like it was like a
Months
month
ago?
ago or
Yeah.
like, oh, yes, frequently
Oh.
asked questions. Okay. It hasn't been that long.
I
And all of a
love
sudden-
that graphic. Holy cow.
All of a
Sorry.
sudden already they are digging in and asking about this stuff. So Chad, as usual, I'll kick it to you. Cybersecurity is now becoming even more of a big deal. It's legit. Are you guys, is the sales team prepped for this? Does Mark, does Justin, does yourself, do you know how to answer questions for clients that
Yes.
ask you about it?
We know
No.
how to answer questions
No.
by dodging really well. We no, internally, we have a good cybersecurity policy, but do we have something deliverable? No, not
it's
from
time.
us. We have it from our partners, the people that we empower to create our cybersecurity. But the questions that I've been asked in the larger market is what is coming from plan design consultants? Well,
It's
she's that
safe.
actress then.
Check swing.
That shows what your policy is. JD, when I first read that today, my very first question was, which investigator at the Department of Labor can actually understand these
Well, that's what-
cybersecurity policies? They're gonna
That's what
review?
Hackler's saying too. Hackler's saying they don't even know what they're doing. And
No,
Brandon
they're
said
gonna look for
today,
policy. They're going to look for procedures. That's it.
Brandon said today on a group text, because Brandon's a big tech guy. He's like, he thinks it's funny because this stuff is ever changing, right? So to put like
Daily.
rules in place. Cindy, like just real quick, just to go to you guys, you're a big shot. You're a big executive. Cybersecurity is a big deal. Is this stuff coming across your desk at Broadridge, Matrix, FI 360?
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming across our desk. And the due diligence questionnaires are, what went from 2 pages, it's now 25. So you definitely want to make sure that you're working with a provider that can help you to navigate all of it and be able to give you the cybersecurity information that you need in order to be able to answer questions. I think there was some, good comments in the chat. I'm not saying I'm going to vote you in yet. You have some reference to
Whoa.
Putin. I think that might be a little extreme, but I will say I do agree on the side of that it might be a lot of, move towards enforcement or thinking about that before this is all fully baked. So yeah, it's absolutely getting across our desk and we're on it.
And I got the vibe with what should I call them? The guidelines that we got from the Department of Labor earlier weren't even really like mandatory stuff. They're just kind of like recommendations. So it doesn't seem like there's any black and white rules yet. So it's all kind of a little wishy-washy to me. But I'll tell you a good thing about it, Mark, and I want to get your opinion. A lot of the stuff we talk about in 401k is so foreign to our clients, to plan sponsors. It's hard to understand. This is something that would make sense to them, that they could wrap their brain around or nod along in acceptance if y'all are using it in a point of sale and trying to talk about it. They would get it, right, Mark?
Again, I think I said this before, they would understand the need for it, but they would be relying on the other people in the room who have come in to help them with their plan to navigate that for them. Like they want that assistance for oversight. And again, they're relying on those entities to have proper infrastructure, follow those rules and requirements and keep an eye on it and making sure. Again, I think bigger companies have people who are focused in that space. Smaller companies, I don't think they have someone there who's going to be aware of that kind of stuff.
That's where in the financial services space, I think this gets interesting because there are many small companies. There's a shit ton of third-party administrators, right? That don't have the Brandons of the world to protect them. And so I'm anxious to see how those kind of businesses respond to any real guidelines or questions that are going to come forth in those point of sales where people are asking these questions.
Well, don't forget either, like it's not something, I don't think, I'm not an expert in this area, but a plan sponsor can also just completely delegate all of this because they're an Achilles heel in the process too, right? And so if their HR gets hacked in some way, there's ways that they can penetrate through the client themselves. Dang it, human resources. So it's there's still a job for them to do. It's not that you can just go, oh, I need all my vendors to take care of it for me. They have a responsibility from a cybersecurity standpoint too.
JD, is the cybersecurity stuff the reason why you hired a human resources person?
No, no.
We all got blindsided by that one today.
I hired a new person to take care of you fuckers. You should be thanking me.
I know, we were laughing because usually we're a part of that conversation. All of a sudden we got an email like, hey, I'm your new HR guy. And Mark and I looked.
I almost deleted it. I thought it was spam.
Did I meet him when I met you?
Yeah, you met Raul. Yeah.
He seemed like a good guy.
He's in the office.
Wait, you've already met an employee?
She knew before we did.
I met JD yesterday.
Yeah, Dasher and I were hanging out. Let's keep it moving along. Hey, there's a new pod out there from my boy Itzo, and guess who's his guest? It's Nev. It's Wink Nevin Adams, and Nevin does such a great job when he's talking shop. I really enjoyed it. Towards the end, they talk peps, and Nevin gets all lovey-dovey on peps, which kind of pissed me off. That's two. But they also talk about Biden's little tax shift to a tax credit and retirement plan. They talk about all kinds of cool stuff, litigation. So tune into Itzo's podcast. And then don't forget, Retireholics is available as a podcast as well on all your favorite podcast apps. Plug. Cindy, I got to ask you, you're our guest. I've called you big shot executive over and over here. I've never personally, I don't walk in the circles with people that acquire companies for what I'm guessing are tens of millions of dollars. I don't know what FI 360 went for, but we've always been big supporters of FI 360. We've been involved with them for years. Give us a little insider scoop on how do they come up on your radar? What's the process as you start to investigate purchasing them? how long did that period take? Because for the audience, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, you played the major role in that acquisition, right?
Yeah, so I appreciate the question. You guys had Faustino on a couple weeks ago. He's great. Saw him in the chat. So, I mean, doesn't that say it all? Wouldn't you be looking at FI 360 if Faustino came along?
I don't know. That's Faustino was the whole value.
No, he was up
Faustino.
there. I wouldn't say the whole deal, but definitely sealed it. So for Matrix, I appreciate the big shot, but definitely started with humble beginnings. And as I mentioned to you, I was here when it was 8 associates, and certainly not even in the realm of profitability. So I appreciate that shout out, but I do want to make it clear that we were a small startup and acquired, as you mentioned in my intro, from Broadridge. So when we do look at mergers and acquisitions, I'm really psyched I didn't use an acronym
Nice.
there. The fact that we think about having been there, what's the best fit, not only from a tools perspective, but also from a cultural perspective. So we do really, truly value the human capital element. I saw some shout outs to Nevin as the icon. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of subject matter expertise that we need on the advisor tool side. And so as we think about our strategy, if you're familiar with Matrix on our platform, from the custodial perspective, we have the scale. We brought in the services that we need to be able to deliver on our trading platform side, but really integrating advisors and speaking to those advisors that already have their designation with FI 360 that, hey, listen, you can have choice with Matrix as well as a custodian, because really today there's very few players in this marketplace that offer that independence and choice. And so as we think about advisors and how we can serve them, that's really what we're here to do. We don't want to be in the room with those advisors, competing for plans up against them. We don't provide record keeping services. It's really all about that value add for those advisors. So when I sat down to focus on that deal, we actually had commonality with Bluffpoint, which is the private equity firm. And so we knew that they definitely had the same type of focus that we did on value and valuing those associates and then getting those advisor tools. So
can I ask a typical question?
Sure.
Dash, does this mean that FI 360 gets infused some cash, some investment, some improvements? Like, is that a goal for you?
Sure. So as you heard from Faustino, if you were on that Retireholics, we're the best acquirer for.
I was there.
No, I have a timeout first. I can't
Time it
remember
out.
from the Faustino episode. Is FI 360 an Acrosin?
I know. I've been.
We brought it up, and I can't remember.
No,
I think we
Those
said
first
no.
2 letters lead to an Acrosin or not?
No.
No.
And Faustino says no. Okay.
If we did, Dash would be in trouble.
Yeah, because I was counting them just in case it was.
Yeah.
Dasher, I apologize for chat interrupting you. Please continue with your comments.
For once, I didn't interrupt. That's great.
I think I might drink anyway. Just take a
Smart move. Oh, what? Hold on. Another
Is that the light sky?
That's one of those. Is that good? Are those good?
So good, dude.
I was asking Dash's opinion.
I was just
doesn't
excited
matter.
about it. I didn't know anyone else drank them. I have them.
I
Sorry,
have them.
Dash, go ahead.
The total is aside from the pandemic. I went on.
Love you, Justin.
How to do that. So lost some weight there from the pandemic. I'm sure you guys can appreciate. So I'm trying to keep it real. But that's why I'm on the light sky versus the full moon.
That's why I have Corona Premier. Oh, you can't see it. 90 calories. When you drink 16 of them, doesn't matter.
It's not easy when you sit all day. That was not part of the plan for a full year and a half. But back to FI 360.
Some investment in them. Yeah. Can we expect cooler shit out of FI 360?
We'll weave in the cybersecurity theme. So as you think about Broadridge and the investment on the technology side and bringing FI 360 onto our technology platform and investing millions of dollars in that upgrade from a security standpoint, as well as from the latest technology to be able to provide additional services to advisors. It's definitely a focus and a benefit, and Broadridge is a public company that offers that capability versus a private equity firm that's looking for a fast turn and a sell on the next fund. And so we're lockstep with our clients on that type of investment. and thinking about ways in which we can deliver on technology.
When I just remember, if I call her big time exec in the future, I'm nailing it. Cause did you hear some of those terms?
Yeah.
Lockstep. And I mean, she's got the pitch. I love it. No, I think that's great. I think that's great. What we want to see is cool new shit from FI 360. That's exciting to me. It's exciting for the advisor world. So can't wait to see it. I got a lot of stuff I got to get to. So I need to pivot real quick. And Brandon, if you can hear me, and you can, if you could bring on Janya Stout just for a quick, minute, 2 minutes.
I want to hover above us.
Yeah, I think so. She's going to go in the box, I think. I want to thank you all for everyone out there that shared the message or helped donate to Janya Stout's little charity run on the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society deal. I really, really appreciate that. I know there's been a lot of love thrown at you tonight, but a lot of you put in your own cash and donated to that because we asked you to, and you're supporting Janya. And I really want to say thank you. And if you saw, we're raffling off prizes for people that donated. So I'm going to name quickly the 5 winners that donated in the $100 range who are winning $125 of Retireholics swag. That's a hoodie, hat, shirt, and one version of a new collectible pint glass. Yes, there will be a pint glass for each of the Retireholics, and you can collect all 5.
Each?
Yes.
The winners of that are Phil Troyer, Jimmy Masters, Brad Bartels, Heidi Lapham, and Casey Boyles. And there's Janya. Janya, you got 30, 45 seconds to say thank you to everyone, but let me announce the big winner. By the way, if you donate $1,000,
did anybody?
You would get the Retireholics to come fly to your town and sleep on your couch for a week, eat your food, drink your beer, piss off your significant other. And no, Mark, everyone was smart. No one wanted to invest.
You know what? Brad Bartels, he was teasing that a little bit. I thought he was going to do it.
No, but we did have a $500 dealio, and guess who donated $500 and who gets a $600 Retireholic swag bag?
JD.
It's Shannon S. Words. Shannon S. Words. So check this out. Shannon, this is so appropriate that you're going to get this, because I honestly don't think there would be any value in this to anybody but you. 2 new hoodies, 3 different print Retireholics t-shirts. One's a Robe Guy t-shirt, by the way.
Oh God, I apologize.
Retireholics tracksuit, 2 beanies,
You know what
2
they
dad
say.
hats, 2 trucker hats, a koozie, 2 coffee mugs, and the full set of collectible Retireholics. Nobody will have that. And probably the first and last of its kind. This is 600 and something bucks worth of this crap. Retireholics pajamas, Shannon. Retireholics pajamas.
Is it a onesie?
Wow.
I was waiting for a signed robe or something.
Janya, be the professional. Say thank you to the people. Thanks for including us. Here's your little moment.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's not over yet. So now that I know they're pajamas, can I donate and get them? Because I definitely want some Retireholic pajamas.
Can we sleep on your couch?
Well, you can $500. You get the pajamas, right?
That was a one-time deal. No.
I was almost gonna text Shannon last night and be like, Shannon, let me match your contribution, and then I'll go to Oklahoma because that's where I'm born. I was born and raised, and I'll stay at Shannon's house with you guys.
I think
Shannon has sleepover.
I think Shannon has carpet in her living room, and we highly recommend against the Retireholics with carpet. We'll just sleep
outside. It's fine.
All right. Janya, thank you.
I'm going to put the link in the chat.
Okay.
The gala is actually tomorrow. So again, thank you all who have donated. I mean, JD, you also donated your time, and the people at Leukemia and Lymphoma think you are a rock star. Like, you should hear all the buzz that Megan and Genesis are like, who are these guys? Like, people that aren't in our industry and find out, they're kind of amazed. But I'm going to put the link. So if anyone wants to still donate, I don't know if JD will still give up some PJs, but I think.
Damn right he will.
Yeah. But thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for allowing us to help you out, Janya. And again, thanks to everyone out there. That was really, really
Thank
nice
you,
of you.
Janya.
We promise not to hit you up for cash again until Maya's got to do Girl Scout cookies again. Then it's on like
Yep.
Donkey Kong. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Janya. Good to see you. She still
Hold on,
owes
time
me-
out. Time
still
out.
owes us $5 million.
Did Jania just pull an
Oh.
all-star move there by not saying an acronym? Did you hear her stop? She check swung and she wasn't even on the show. Like that was
Veteran.
classic. Yeah.
Veteran move.
Solid. She still does owe us $5 billion though. Okay. Let's spin the
Not
wheel of
billion.
dice, and then guys, we're
Yeah.
gonna kind of talk sports. I know you're gonna get excited about
We've
that.
done like 0 content so far. We're gonna go to
Uh,
sports. This is fantastic.
Actually content, chat. It's actually content. All right, Brandon, the unimproved and not new, but full of integrity wheel of
Just
ice.
a
Let's
big
spin it up.
heaping pile of crap. Wheel of ice.
The wheel of ice, the wheel of ice.
Woo! No.
Yes.
No. 2 weeks in a row.
Let's double them up. Hit them,
No,
double them,
let's not.
double them. Put
I
it
hit
in
this
there.
last week.
Oh, it's gonna do it. It's gonna do it.
2 weeks in a
All right.
row. You know, I have to deep fry some food tonight after this.
Ooh, hot oil with drunken Chad. That would be fun.
Enjoy your froze maker. Enjoy your froze maker. Cindy, sports. You and I had a little conversation prior to the show. I know tennis is a big deal for you, but we kind of went down this path of like, sports is actually a great indicator of how someone might succeed in business and in life. And you seem to really pick up what I was putting down when I was talking about that. Like it meant a lot to you. So maybe you could share with everyone a bit of your experience in terms of getting into tennis, but then more importantly, how has tennis kind of Venn diagrammed into your success as a business person? And then I know the boys are going to jump all over this subject, but
Yeah, no, I appreciate that in terms of tennis. There's also some reference in the chat, if you guys didn't see, to cornhole and ping pong. So I'll just start with the fact that I'm not very good at cornhole and have failed magnanimously.
So
at
you're human.
conferences.
the
And,
two-handed backhand is tough in ping pong. I know.
yeah, exactly. Ping pong's where it's at. But in all sincerity, I think having access to sports early on for me was huge in terms of self-esteem and building teams and thinking about diversity in a lot of different ways. And I played a ton of sports, and I give my dad a lot of credit. I was actually in San Diego, as you know, for my parents' 60th wedding anniversary. And as the youngest of three, he used to take me out and work on my hook shot. I'm 5'4", so you guys know it wasn't very impressive. But the point being that, not only did I have a dad that thought I could do sports and be quite good at it, but also a mom that encouraged me. So for all of you guys who may not think that that's impactful, it is. And then as I got into teams in high school and college, really what it taught me was so much more than the classroom, just about having to have resilience and think about failure. You're obviously not going to win every match. And sometimes you get smoked 6-0, 6-1. I saw some reference to the Naomi Osaka comments as well, and the thoughts around that in terms of her mental health. And you do have to bring yourself back to it. So a lot of times when I'm thinking through our growth strategy, and not trying to use a lot of buzzwords, but I do work for a public company. And as you think about kind of the next steps in that journey for us, a lot of what I learned on that tennis court comes into playing, because I do have to think about, listen, this just isn't working. And so
Right.
where are we going to go next, and how are we going to make sure that we're putting ourselves in the best position to succeed? And sometimes if you guys are into sports, that's completely retooling your forehand or how you're thinking
Big
about
changes.
it changes all the time. And I think this pandemic has certainly put that all to the test. I'm sure we're all tired of that.
Changes in sport that I know Mark's got a golf background, Chad's baseball player, Justin's a big hockey guy right now, but changes in sports can feel very awkward for a long period of time. So that you have to have a lot of faith in that kind of one step backwards for two steps forward. I'm a firm believer in the 10,000 hours, and the fact that when I see an athlete who gets to a certain level, I know that they've been through the trials and tribulations of, success and failure and changing things and working hard at stuff and using their brain to figure things out on a really high level. And I hope I'm not offending anyone. Someone made a mention to band camp and it was not an athlete, but Chad, let me ask you, Chad, hiring great athletes, good call or bad call?
I say good call. I mean, they still have to be the right fit and ready, but most athletes, most people who have been on a team understand that camaraderie. They also understand the need to succeed, like the need to put in what might be extra to make sure that you're starting or that you have a chance to win. And so I think it's a good thing. I think hiring military, I think hiring athletes are two differentiators that people kind of look past often. The other component I was going to say, JD, is as you and Dash were talking, I do think that people who get complacent with their work life, who continue to do the same thing year after year, are the ones that get burnt out and or fall out of being successful after a period of time. And Justin, Mark, and I, we always share kind of that trials and tribulations of what we tried, what worked, what didn't work. And I will happily say what didn't work 2 months ago,
Brandon.
We change, and it might work a year from now, but we keep trying shit. We don't just stay with the same type of way of describing a situation or the same analogy or the same way of talking about cross testing. Like you got
perseverance. It's that perseverance you learn. Getting really good at a sport. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about someone who plays tennis on the weekend or shoots hoops, on Thursdays with his friends. I'm talking about someone who works really hard.
Are you calling out PCH? Oh, son of a bitch.
Who works really hard to get to a high level. And when you do that, you put in your hours, man, and you put in the mental strategy to figure it out and the changes. I mean, the same is true in tennis, changing to a certain grip to hit a kick serve, or in Mark, in golf, changing to a proper grip when you've had the wrong grip for a long time because you want to make that extra leap forward.
That's Chad's problem right now.
So difficult to do and takes such a commitment that.
Well, and I also think I agree on the music side. My daughter's a pianist. She's 17, and I don't know what happened to our DNA. She's not into sports at all, but I see how hard she works on a piece. And with music, it's always an interpretation. And so I do think that same level of commitment comes through, and that's what you're looking for, in my opinion. I think that's what I love about living out here. It's not all about where you went to school, what you say that, oh, I know this person, or I worked at this consulting firm. It's really, I think, more open-minded to what you bring to the table and how well you can pick yourself up when it doesn't work out.
Chad, before you go, I just want to tell that I agree with the music thing, 100%, same type of deal. Go ahead, Chad.
Daniela asked a question in there, and it actually got me thinking quite a bit. She's essentially saying that as an adult, it's hard to continue to thrive at something. Call it tennis for you, Dash, because you're pulled in so many directions. You're pulled with business, you're pulled with life, you're potentially pulled with kids. Like I look at my passion for golf, and damn, do I love it. And I love the challenge, but I play like 3 times a month, and there's no opportunity to practice. So taking it too serious and continuing to grow or thrive there is difficult. And if you tie that into business, where is your time and effort spent in business? It has to be in those practice reps. I connected with Mark and Justin this last week after watching a motivational speaker, and he talked about your highly productive activities. What are your, I'm not going to use the acronym, but what are your highly productive activities that you have to do every single day in your job to succeed? And he wanted you to identify those. Like, what are the 5 things that you have to do every single day to succeed? And if you correlate that to sports, a good one, Mark. Like we had those. He says he was a college football player. He was a receiver. He's like, every single day I ran routes, I caught the football, and I blocked. What is it that we all do in our own daily work that are our HPAs? I'll drink for that one. Because that was insightful to me. Like I had to sit
look at your work like an athlete.
You're right. And I think golf is a sport. I'm just going to say that. I saw that in the chat.
Of course it's a sport. I
know, right? It's not a sport if you hit a lot of rough, but I mean, I get that. I think the point that you're making is really pretty accurate in the sense that I get up at 5:30 in the morning and I go and I play and I'm pretty honest about it. And yeah, I have put things to the side, and it is really important for my mental health. And then I can come into the office and be a better leader and be a better person throughout that day and address what our clients need. But without that, it's just
That's a
not
great
work.
point. All right. So Chad, you're, first of all,
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
I would encourage you as your boss to say like, well, you can Venn diagram golf and work a ton. So you could
For
up
sure.
the 3
It's,
times a
it's,
month.
it's something that we can.
But if I could jump on Dash's bandwagon, I mean, it's no mystery to everyone. I pretty much surf every day. And I firmly believe that that balances me as a business person, as an entrepreneur. I need that fuel to keep me banging on the emails and having those phone calls and doing them in a positive, move forward kind of way. Without my surfing and having that outlet, I would just wouldn't be the same person. And I think I'd be less effective.
For sure.
So why is that not okay? You know, to fit that in and have that kind of balance. Now you got young kids. I'm kind of past the young kid stage. So that's a whole nother deal. And I know golf can be a bitch of, you know, freaking 4 or 5 hours out there, but maybe we need to shift to like 9 holes and banging it out quick.
Or even a range session. That's the thing
Yeah.
with, and that was kind of what I was trying to tie in, is that in golf, most people don't practice, they play.
Right.
And that's something that you have to do in work. You can't just go into point of sales. You got to work through your conversation. You got to continue to talk to folks. But in golf, that as you become an adult, as folks were saying in the chat bar, it just becomes hard to find the time for that practice. So kudos to you. And I agree with both of you. That balance is crucial to the mental health and to being effective in what you're actually doing for the other 7-8 hours of your day.
Chad, I liked what you were bringing to the business side of it, though, is if when Cindy was younger and training, and if she's going down the courts and she's going to spend 30 minutes on serves, you know, 15 minutes on down the line forehands and 15 minutes on, you know, side to side running the lines and 15 minutes hitting backhands down the line and volleys, et cetera, et cetera. And that's a classic training approach that makes her a better tennis player. You know, are we taking that same approach as businessmen and businesswomen in our day-to-day jobs and making ourselves as good as we can be? We've talked about that previously on the show, but I think we need to look at that harder and not waste time. You don't go to the court, you don't go to the tennis court, right? And be like, and just fuck around and like, oh, I'll try some of this and try some of that. And I think a lot of us go to work and are like, well, let me answer the emails. Okay, now here's a phone call. Up, got to go jump on this Zoom. Got to go do this. And you're just chasing your tail. Where's the structure? Where's the strategy? Where's the organization?
Right. A lot of people can't execute. And I know that might be, you know, sounds more arrogant, but I do think that that background gives you the ability to execute. And that's what our clients are looking for. That's what why they come back, or how they think of us. Like, they know if we give our word, it's going to get done. And it's the same thing. Like, I'm not going to step on the tennis court, or I wouldn't have, not going to sign up for anything without the commitment.
Jenya, it's too late. We can't go to anyone's house. Who
No,
did it?
yes, we. I'll go. I'm going.
I have it up to donate on my right screen, but it was not me that put in that G.
Let me shift gears. When I was out there selling like Mark and Chad and Justin are, and remember, we're a third-party administrator. We're in the small micro space, you know, so I kind of played in that startup to 2 million, you know, and it's not that we didn't call on a 50 million or a 25 million, but most of our time is in that micro market. And we played with all the record keepers that you would think of, all those big kind of insurance company names and mutual fund names back in the day. And then I never even heard the term custodian until one day I had worked with an advisor, and we'd worked with an independent record keeper, non-insurance company, non-mutual fund. And in the paperwork, there was a decision to make. Who was going to be our custodian? And the advisor and I kind of looked at each other like, what is that? I've since learned that and become very comfortable with it, but I wonder if that resonates with anyone in the audience. This role of custodian tends to be like back behind the curtains a lot of times. Yeah, Chad.
Let me make one quick comment too. When you talk to the folks at that record keeper, 97% of the time, it's strictly cost basis. They're like, oh, well, this one's 3 basis points. This one's 2 basis points. when you're talking an independent record
They
keeper.
don't compare
and
the value of
they
them.
do not talk at all about the value of the platform, the ease of operations on their end, nothing. It is strictly a cost statement.
So
Yeah,
can I,
and also a name statement, right? You know, I think
Yeah,
that's
you hear
also, to your
Matrix, you hear
point,
others. Yeah.
like there's a small, yeah, it's thinking about the smaller firms, and they think if they pick a larger name, and obviously Broadridge has clients everywhere, so that's just my thoughts, but really there definitely should be some more education around it so that you're thinking about the platform that gives you that independence for your business.
it's kind of where I want to take this. I feel like we're heading into this world now, not to go tinfoil hat on everybody, but where we talk about monetizing the participant, and that kind of translates into, I would call advisors like controlling or owning their clients in this world of many other vendors trying to do the same thing. And so maybe you could, again, not to keep putting you on the sales pitch a little bit, but it is your area of expertise. So maybe you could talk a bit about the role of a custodian, Cindy, and you can slant it towards Matrix, but and why that might be a good choice for advisors to pay attention to who their custodian partner might be, and how that might help them control their participants, control their data, have more flexibility going forward. Not to put words in your mouth. I'm just going to drink beer, shut up and listen to you talk for a second. Go ahead.
That's all right. I appreciate that. And I also think that from my perspective, having gone through a lot of different iterations of Custodian and now getting into FI 360, there's definitely an opportunity for advisors to really own their own book and think about it from the perspective of where they want to take their business in the future. Right now, there's a lot of mega mergers out there, and the advisor is the focus. And most plans, I think 70% are sold, advisor sold. So advisors definitely want to think about owning their own destiny and where they can take their book in the future, and having those tools. It's not just the custodian. I mean, let's face it, because, and I'm a lawyer by training, so you're all like, wow, this is an awesome sales pitch, but obviously I've made some changes in that regard. But really what helps me on the custodial side is obviously safety, soundness, and thinking through that with a custodial partner. But you also want to have the independence and the tools to help you own your business going forward. If you just keep buying into the aggregators and thinking about where the data is going out from your platform without how you control it, it may not be as pretty a picture in terms of your independence in the future. And so I'd really look to partner with someone who's thinking about that for you, not looking to think about your data as their commodity, their ticket forward. Certainly to think about your value add to the plan.
I also feel like a lot of and I think the guys will get this, a lot of the record keepers have always worked to create like great tools, right? They want to create things that will attract advisors to work with them. But a lot of them seem silly to me in the sense that, like, think of a record keeper that creates like a fund monitoring tool or system, right? That just ranking funds from 0 to 10 or whatever it is. And so they want you to go work with them because they provide you that ranking system for free because you sold their platform. But if you think about that realistically, if I'm an advisor, how am I going to then, I'm not going to sell all of my plans with record keeper A. So how am I going to use their tools for their programs? And then the other record keepers, I got to try to use their tools. It just turns into a shit show of inefficiency. And so things like FI 360 and or going deeper and looking at a custodian that you partner with will allow you to more create your solution, your independent solution, versus trying to play with all this other junk. Chad, you always run to the defense of record keepers, but you get what I'm saying? Where like, why do I want to use a John Hancock or I shouldn't use names here. They all do it, so I shouldn't pick on any of them, but tool to monitor funds or do whatever, like that seems inefficient.
That's kind of what I'm sitting here writing down because there's so much good freaking chat bar going on right now that I'm trying to keep up with.
I know I had to bail. I had to kick out of it. But Crystal, I feel like we need to talk with Crystal in the after show.
So that was a comment from Shannon, who obviously knows this space arguably better than any of us. And she said, well, ask Crystal who's the best record keeper. If you're a new advisor, who's the best record keeper to use? Who's the best custodian is what she stated. And my response back was, well, isn't that more of a record keeper question? And then someone immediately chimed in before I had responded back that The custodian is usually dictated by the record keeper that you're choosing. And the truth is, in the market we
Can be.
play in, call it sub 10 million, which is the vast majority of where we spend our time, the custodian is chosen by who the record keeper is working with, who the John Hancock's, Voya's, Principles, T. Rose standards are working with. Now, there are a few that give you options of who you can choose from a custodian perspective, but not many of them. And it is never a point of discussion in the sales process. It is a record keeper proposal, and there's very little to no discussion on who the custodian
But that's
is.
how it is now and how it has been. Cindy, I mean, you guys work with hundreds of record keepers in a sense, right? I mean, so
Yeah, and there's some great chat. Sorry to cut you off there, but I do agree on the independent record keeper side. And we've been certainly told more of late that advisors are driving who they work with on a custodial side based upon tools. And like I said, the advisor is being sought after from these mega mergers. So I think having as many connections as you can to as many independent record keepers that also work with these advisors and can bring in the outside
Chad,
assets.
I understand if you're, and I'm going to use names. I understand if you're in nationwide Hancock principal world, that the
But let's-
custodian's not a choice, but that's not
No.
everyone just plays in that.
And that's not what I'm trying to say, but let's not be naive. The vast majority of the transactions that happen in this space are sub 1 million, sub 3 million. I'll go there, sub 3 million. And the vast majority of those transactions, meaning plans moving, are not going to an independent record keeper.
But
They're
that's how
going
it
to these
has been.
large
But
providers.
this is great. But what do you don't think that might change a little as everyone starts to come down market?
No,
Oh,
I
you're
don't. And
crazy.
I don't. And the reason why I don't, let me make a statement. I think it should, but the reason why I don't is who's spending the marketing money. It's not these independent record keepers. It's
No, I don't think that.
nationwide sponsoring a
I
golf
don't
tournament,
think
and
the
it's the
independent
principal
record keeper is going to
commercials.
drive it, Chad. I think the advisor is going to drive it, and the advisor is
If we
going to
have a
come down
fiduciary
market.
rule and that shit changes, then I can argue, I can agree with you in that statement. But
Advisor
we've
will
seen
come
this
down market.
try in 2016.
All right,
we've seen this
Shannon. All
try
right,
in
Shannon. We'll let
2019.
Cindy talk. Go ahead, Cindy.
Well, the majority of our books, we're about 650 billion in assets under administration. I almost used an acronym. And so the majority of our plans are from the $1 to $18 million range. So I appreciate what you were saying, Chad, in terms of the bundled offering, and it's easier. And I'm not naive to that at all, but I do think there's this unique convergence, not bundled. And that's fair. I definitely will take that. But from where we sit, there's this opportunity to bring together an open architecture platform that offers choice, offers the advisors a custodian to work with that can get them a similar, if not better, experience by bringing in data points across all of the different firms that they work with. So if they have outside custodial assets, self-directed brokerage, all of those buzzwords, they can bring that in through our platform. And that's where we see the future going.
Yeah.
That's
And
where
Chad, you work in this world, which I get. And
No,
you're an
I don't,
expert.
JD,
You're an
though.
expert in that world. And I love you for it. But just understand that a lot of plans get sold outside of that little world.
But
in
that's what
small
I want to
plans.
quantify, and I'm trying to find the statistic right now. I get it that the majority of your plans are between 1 and 18 million, but the majority of your plans versus the majority of the insurance provider plans, which they're each selling what, 6,000 plans a year? They're each bringing on 6,000 new clients a year. Like, there's so much movement in that space, and the vast majority of the business that is moving in that space is still going to these top, call it 6 record keepers that are not even bothering to look at the real relationship with the custodian. They're just going with who they've had in that position the entire time. And I'm not saying that's a good thing.
No, I agree with you. I don't think the custodian is going to make a change in their mind. I think what they're also coming back to us and asking now is, hey, are you willing to provide certain services to our platform? We don't want to use you necessarily as a custodian, but the FI 360 services, or will you provide unitization, or will you provide fund accounting? That's what's happening because they can't support all the different services.
Right.
I think Hackler called me out best, and he's right. I'll give it to him. I think he was talking to me when he said, but that was a future 10 years ago too, and it hasn't gotten there. And so I'd agree with you on that. Like I would have told you
So-
10 years ago, hey man, this world's changing and no longer will these insurance companies dominate. And it clearly hasn't changed, but I still
JD,
say stay open-minded, Chadwick.
for sure.
Open architecture, independent record keepers, and choosing custodians, because there's some cool shit there. And I'm not just saying this because Cindy's on this, because Chad, tell everyone in the audience, I've been preaching this to you for
Oh,
7
for sure.
years, right?
Absolutely, you have. More than that, since
Yeah.
the day I started, almost 12 years ago with you. Absolutely, you have been. And we are still there, and believe that for the right advisor, that those independent record keepers are a fantastic fit. I keep dodging Shannon's question, and Shannon keeps writing in the chat bar, which is, ask Cindy. Okay, I get it. A lot of business goes to these big name providers, but of what's not going to these big name providers, who do you believe is making a good step in the right direction in that independent record keeper space? And can you comfortably say that without burning any bridges, I guess, is the
And
second.
these are all her clients. Yeah, these are.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
might-
I
yeah.
think I'll probably defer to that, but what I do see, because, naming names doesn't help. And then ultimately it's like the Oscars, you're going to leave somebody out and I'm going to get that phone call. So I'll take a hall pass.
But I can jump on that. And there's a few out there.
Yeah,
You see
okay,
the
so throw a
growth.
few in.
You see growth in PCS, and Aspire before they merged. I mean, there's tons of these. God damn it, set me up for that. Yeah, I mean, you see the firms that are bringing on the plans, these independent, non-insurance company, non-mutual fund family record keepers, and they're out there. ABG. God, son of a bitch. I'm not mentioning
they're
anymore.
all
They're all acronyms. I wanna play a quick game before we get to the end of the show and then head into the after show. But that was fun. That was cool. That was heated. That was awesome. The chat bar, love it, man. I'm going to have to rewind back and look through all that.
Yeah, that's a great topic.
And maybe we can push some of this into the after show a little bit. But let's play the game I like. It's a little controversial at times, but I think it's safe today for the most part. Brandon actually, censored me. I sent one to him and he said, absolutely not. We're not doing this one, but no, not the lamer game. It's the, one of these things is not like the others. Play the song, Brandon. I love this song.
One of these things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you
Brandon.
tell which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song?
Okay, Cindy, you don't have a time limit here, but it's
I have
pretty
an
simple.
answer.
You got 4 things up there. You got to find which one of those is not like the others. And while you do this, I have to remember what the answer is. God damn it. Go.
I'm not
yeah, give us
sure
your-
how great I can see, but it looks like
You got Sharapova, you got Capriati, you got Serena Williams, you got Steffi Graf.
Who hasn't won Wimbledon? Maybe that's.
Oh, good try though, Mark. I think they've all won Wimbledon. I don't know if Capriati's won, but no.
Hmm.
Maybe we should have a time
the
limit.
drug testing comes to me. I was going to say
No,
that.
no, but you have a good Retireholics mind. That's usually where we go. I thought you would say, I believe Steffi, Serena, and Sharapova have all won the career Grand Slam. Capriati has not, but I was going to say Capriati was the only one who's been arrested for drugs. So, but that's
But that's not true. She was
What-
arrested for recreational drugs, and Sharapova wasn't arrested. But
she didn't get arrested. Well,
Damn, look
the
at this
details here.
clarification happening.
But no, those 3 others are all the career Grand Slam titles, and I want to be
Aaron mentioned that Capriati had a DUI. Did the other 3 not have a DUI?
probably not. Probably
No.
not.
Capriati sounds like she has a good time.
I do want to say I've always been a Capriati fan, and watching her in some of those Grand Slams when she was 13, 14, 15, it was phenomenal.
And
She
her
was,
comeback in the Australian Open
she was
was
sick.
epic. It was
She
so
was
epic.
awesome. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one, which is a bit of an industry one and just kind of nerdy, and I don't know, we'll give it a shot. All right, we got 5 people up here.
Oh my god.
That's an
That is an
old school
old picture.
of Nevin Adams, which
Oh,
just
I
thought was
love it so
hilarious.
much.
I did not even know that was Nevin.
Oh my.
So
Gosh,
classic.
Nevin.
I thought that was Nevin's younger brother or something.
And then you've
Oh.
got Fred Reish, you've got Dick Darian, Josh Itso of the famed Fiduciary U podcast, and Rick Unser.
Of the famed 401k Fridays podcast.
Yes,
the-
Mark.
the
Original,
first
the OG.
ever
Is the
sponsor
audience
of
guessing?
my web.
Dick Darian is not a JD. I don't know. Either is Rick Unser. Ooh, Bill, you're
Rick-
JD, don't say anything. Don't you look in
Rick-
there.
Bill's got the wrong guy, but
Rick Unser's not wearing a tie.
ooh.
Ooh.
All right, Dash.
Any
what you
guesses?
got?
I'm.
Any guesses, Dash? No.
I was going with the sweater, not the tie. I was going with that, the millennial look. You know,
you
I was
might-
going with the age bracket.
You might do great on the last one here. Go ahead, Brandon. Dick Darian is the only one without a podcast. So yes, Nevin Adams and Fred Reish together on a podcast. It's a Fiduciary U podcast, Rick Unser 401k Fridays podcast. It's just a boring industry one. Thought it'd be fun. Let's go to the last one. This one gets a little dicier. Got,
that.
Barbara
That on the
Streisand,
left.
Ben
Yeah.
Stiller, Steffi Graf, and Brooke Shields. Come on, audience. Which one of these does not belong
I got
and
nothing.
why?
I know that there's a trick here.
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about Brooke Shields or Steffi Graf or can you tie
Oh,
Well,
anything?
there's the Andre Agassi.
There you go.
So Stiller was not with Agassi. I'm going
Yeah,
with
that's my
Agassi.
girl. No,
Did you
Stiller,
see him on Letterman?
Stiller, Barbara, and Brooke all have the initials BS. Steffi does
Wow.
not have the initial BS. But you're right, Cindy. I love that even more. Andre
I went to Us
Agassi,
Magazine. I mean, you know, Andre, then
Andre Agassi dated Barbara Streisand, dated or married to Steffi Graf, dated Brooke Shields, but as far as I know, never dated Ben Stiller. So good for you. Good for you.
There was that one special night.
Mike Webb, can we have some more drunk Mark clips? I think we're gonna have to film some new ones. I don't know. We're gonna have to film some new ones, and he's too mature these days. Let's move straight to Chap Our Champion. Thank you, Cindy, for playing
Ooh.
our silly little game. Chad, who is your Chap Our? Mike's like, we can do drunk Mark repeats. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I
JD,
feel you. Feel
JD,
you, Mike.
Dwayne's here. Eric Kaki's here. I haven't
Oh,
spoken to Dwayne in
nice.
so long.
Aloha.
Just based upon the interaction, and she got me thinking quite a bit. I'm gonna go Crystal Benson. I feel like Crystal was really active in the
Okay.
chat bar tonight and got me thinking about a few different things.
All right, Brandon, we got Crystal Benson up there. I like that, Chad. She definitely was not afraid to
Ooh,
jump
Aaron
in.
Redmond had a good night.
And I would
Mhm.
encourage
There's a
that
few.
for everyone
Sorry.
out there. Mark, vote for Chap Our Champion.
Justin has to go first.
Mark, go ahead.
Nope.
Come on, you guys.
All right, my two were Crystal and Aaron as well, so I was figuring.
It's like this
We'll go with
coming
Aaron.
as a shock to
Wait,
you.
that's
every
Aaron
time.
Redmond?
Yes,
Justin, which Aaron are you going with?
Redmond.
Aaron
Yeah.
Redmond.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Mark. Aaron, you can't celebrate yourself. I guess you can.
I'm gonna this is a this
Yes,
has to
you
be there's
I'm gonna back up Aaron now.
this is a vote with
Ooh.
contingencies.
Okay.
I'm gonna vote for Shannon Eswards only if we can stay at her house and have a sleepover with her and Janya.
I'm sure she'll agree to those rules. So you can
Okay.
put Shannon S words in there. Although you gotta make me a vegan dinner plan alongside all your meat, your animal killing dinners.
I'll eat
yeah.
anything you shoot. Chad.
Dasher, who
I
is your
know.
vote for Chap Our Champion? You cannot pick John Faustino.
I won't, and Erin's part of Matrix too, so I feel that terrible about that because she was celebrating her, you know. But I'd have to
good night.
go. She had a great night, and she's awesome. And I would go with Greg and Shannon. I think
GG.
Greg
Two.
GG.
No. the Putin comment kind of put me that from the jump. That was a good one.
Craig Greenfield, is that Putin? Do we know this, Chad?
I think that's the only Greg in here tonight.
yeah.
GG
All right.
is always on fire.
Craig Greenfield. And I'll back you up on the Aaron Redmond, because I talked shit to her and she fired right back at me very quickly here at the end with, yes, I can celebrate myself.
Point of clarification, as it was just made in the chat bar, Greg is gone. Not present means he can't make the finalist.
Cannot win.
Oh, no one's gonna vote.
I go to Shannon. I mean, I get, we can.
Yeah, you can double up.
Yeah, I can double up.
Yeah, Shannon, you give Shannon a second vote. Okay, Shannon S. words.
And my females in the house, man.
All right, Brandon. Females have been pretty good.
Do I have to change Shannon to
No.
Greg? Okay, let's just.
No one's gonna vote for Greg. He's not here.
All right.
I'm gonna
vote for Greg now.
Yes,
now I
okay,
am. Aaron Redmond, who celebrated themselves ×2.
All right, the votes are coming in. Ooh, I feel like Shannon's kind of a local, like it's almost not fair. Like she's got a lot of peeps.
She's always on top.
Right?
She's got help.
She's kind of running away with it.
But Amanda's not here, and Amanda usually votes like 17 to 24 times every week.
Oh.
Yeah, yep. Brand's gonna end it here, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Shannon. Shannon S. words, you are chat bar champion. Congratulations. This is a big night for you. You chat bar champion, and you're getting like the most creepiest over the top Retireholics swag package in the history of the world. I've lost my screen, so I'll bring this up. Thanks. Cindy, we're wrapping the show. We're going to head into the after show. You're more than welcome to stick around and talk shop with us. By
the way, let's acknowledge that the after show is far better than the actual show in terms of content. We get into some good, deep discussions in the after show. Hey, the regular show is fun, Mark, but the after show is good shit.
So then we should just like start the after show and then go into it.
I don't want to do that.
We'll have the show in the after show, but
right.
the after show in the show.
An hour long of us just drinking and talking about nothing for an hour and then go into the show.
The only reason the after show works because we don't record it and publish it.
Oh, I thought it was because we were drunk by then.
I think it's that Aaron just doesn't care anymore. All right, Brandon, play us out. Oh, wait. Cindy, thank you so much for joining us.
Cindy.
Thanks, you guys.
Super appreciate it. And you out there in the audience, I've given you enough fucking love tonight. I'm not giving you any more. I've been gushing on you. So whatever. You hung out on Thursday night. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Anyway,
Wow.
Brandon, play us some music and let's mosey on over to the after show.
I'm gonna go start the deep fryer real quick.
Let's get, buddy. Name this band. Who are these guys? Oh, what did they say?
Banana,
yeah, Julie.
Banana